Welcome, everybody. Thank you for stopping by and hopefully watch another video as we try to explain, according to the weekly portion, points that, nuggets of information that we find that may be useful with regards to dealing with the claims of missionaries and those that are trying to, or have just Christians that, well-meaning, but they have a difficult time understanding why is it that especially Orthodox Jews have a hard time, quote unquote, accepting Jesus as the Messiah, Jesus as the Jewish Messiah, as they like to emphasize. And they seem to offer all kinds of proofs that should be evident, self-evident and pretty clear according to their understanding. And they just don't get why we just don't seem to see it. As their New Testament claims, that there's a veil over our eyes, we are blind, and basically they have the truth and they need to share it with us at all costs sometimes. So let's dive into this. I want to start with the portion of Bereshit, the Torah portion of Bereshit, which we actually started to already learn, almost 3 weeks ago already. So uh, a little late, but better late than never. Just wanted to make sure that, I dropped some videos on some of these points and eventually we will catch up. So no worries there. So with Bereshit, let's start with chapter 1, the infamous verse that Christians love to point to as some kind of proof of their Trinity doctrine. At the Council of Nicaea in 325, Common Era, Constantine formed, Emperor Constantine, the Roman Emperor Constantine at the time, called for a special assembly of sorts to try to, formulate some creeds for the new Catholic Church. And they came up with the Nicene Creed, basically where they declare the Trinity as official church doctrine. And from there on, they made sure that it's mandatory and required for the Roman Catholic Church and all that, all Christians under their rule, that they must believe this, or else they are called heretics. They will be branded heretics and dealt with force if need be. So uh, this is one of the verses that they like to use, Genesis 1:26, Bereshit 1:26, right, where it says, "Vayomer Elohim, nase Adam betzalmenu kitmutenu." And God said, "Let us make man in our image and after our likeness." Oh, wait a minute. Let us make man in our image and after our likeness. And this is God speaking. This must mean that God is plural. This must mean that there's multiple gods here or multiple persons within this being they call God, this thing they call God. Um, and therefore, this is proof of the Trinity. Well, nothing in this chapter to start off, right? If you've heard this before, first thing that we want to do is, look at the context of the chapter. It's pretty much the famous creation chapter, right? Where starting from verse 1, we are told about this amazing God who is able to create heaven, earth, and everything, in the universe, everything in it, all creation pretty much, by just speaking things into existence ex nihilo. So amazing, beautiful story of creation here. And really, that's the point, right? To highlight God's amazing power and his ability to create everything, omnipotence and power and mercy and kindness and love, creating all these beautiful creations and blessing them and wishing them, success and all kinds of blessings, to multiply and be fruitful, etc. So this is a description of God and the power that he holds over all creation. He's the ultimate, creator, source of all life, source of all existence. This is the theme here. Okay, there's nothing in here trying to give us some kind of theological class about the Trinity. Okay, that is ridiculous to start off. So where in the world do these missionaries get the idea that on verse 26 you can just isolate this verse and, oh, here's the Trinity? No, there's no such thing here. All right. First of all, let's break this down from the Hebrew text, and then you can kind of see using the Hebrew and, being faithful to the Hebrew text. And that's why learning Hebrew is so important for us Orthodox Jews. This is our language. This is the language that we have spoken for and learned for thousands and thousands of years. We have preserved this language. This is the language of our Torah. This is the language of our forefathers. This is the language that we have preserved in our books and in our prayers, even in our most bitter of exiles. Uh, Ever since we became a nation, till today, this is our language. All right. And we have preserved it. We speak it. We learn it in our holy books every single day. So we're very familiar with it. And this is something that is taught to us, from our very, very childhood. So for someone to come and then who has no clue what the Hebrew actually says, and then to try to explain it to us, it's actually, pretty funny. It should be the other way around, show a little humility, maybe defer, maybe ask a few questions before, and try to, approach it that way, and maybe you'll have a little more success. But, uh, coming trying to step up to us like that with, what seems to be arrogance, it's not going to work, and we'll see why. So when we look at the context surrounding verses, right? If you're trying to tell me that Vayomer Elohim Naaseh Adam B'Tzalmenu Kitmutenu, let us make man in our image and in our likeness, you have a problem, because the verse starts with Vayomer Elohim, and God said, not and they said, and God says, or like, and God, meaning that they said Vayomru. It would have to say here Vayomru Elohim, right? And the gods said, and the said part, the speaking part, has to be plural. There's no such thing here. This is singular. Okay, this is one entity here, right? Vayomer is singular. All right. So then, what do we do with this Naaseh Adam? And let us make man in our image and in our likeness, which does seem to be in plural, in plural form, right? So there's a contradiction here. Vayomer Elohim, apparently, right? In singular. And then over here, what did God say? So God said something, and it's trying to tell us that God said, let us make man in our image and in our likeness. All right. So God is speaking, it's a singular person speaking, but then he says, in our image and in our likeness. So who is the we there? Who else is around? Right? Obviously, Vayomer Elohim, we can look at it this way. It's one singular being, right? The creator himself. And then he's surrounded by or addressing other things that are, you know, around him. It could be the angels. Some interpretations have, it could be the angels. It could be the heaven and the earth, who are partners in his creation, as we shall see later. But anyways, it doesn't give any um, any reason for us to believe that there's a Trinity going on, or some kind of 5 gods, 10 gods, 20 gods, any multiple gods here. Vayomer is clearly singular. All right. And if you notice, if you start from the first verse, Bereshit bara Elohim, in the beginning, God created. Bara is singular. Bara, he created. Only one person, one did the creating here, not two, not barau. There's not, multiple creators going on over here. They created. It doesn't say created they, or they created. Nothing like that. And the earth was astonishingly empty, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And for example, verse 3, Vayomer Elohim, and God said, right? No Christian will think that there's a Trinity here. No Christian will, from, I don't care what scholar, you know, uh, from the Christian side, doesn't matter who, there's no way that you could interpret Vayomer as some kind of plural term. It's singular. You would not get any idea that there's any plurality going on over here. Vayomer, bara, Vayomer, Vayar, verse 4. And God saw, not that they saw, not Vayirau, Vayiru, nothing like that. Vayavdil, and God separated. Again, singular. This is singular. Okay. Vayikra Elohim, and God called the light. This is singular. And velachoshech kara laila, and the light he called, and the darkness he called light. He called night. I'm sorry. All right. Again, kara is singular. It's these verbs are all in the singular form. Okay. And you can go down. I don't want to bore you, but pretty much not pretty much every single time, all the way. I mean, all the verses where God is creating heavens, the earth, the trees, the oceans, the firmament, the sky, the water, everything that's created, all the animals, all the creatures, everything, the first day, second, third, fourth, five, six, everything, all the way down until the sixth day when man is created, is always in the singular, indicating just one being present, who is God, and only one doing all the creating, right? And then to confirm that this is correct, look at the following verse, which Christian missionaries often miss or try to hide from people. Not sure what's going on, but it's pretty evident over here. Verse 27, if you had any doubt as to how many creators are here, how many beings are here in verse 26, right? It says, and God created man in his image. In the image of God, he created him. Vayivra, Vayivra Elohim. Again, this is like bara, Bereshit bara, Vayivra. And God created, it's singular. Et Adam betzalmo. In his image, one image. There is no multiple images here going on here. Betzelem Elohim, bara oto. In the image of God, he created him, right? So, bara, again, everything here is singular. Bara otam, he created them. Bara otam. Everything is singular. To confirm exactly what we said, this Vayomer Elohim, and God said in the singular form, is one being, only one being. There's no multiple creators here. There's no multiple beings here. And that follows the context and is supported by all the verses preceding it and after. All right. So there goes your Trinity theory, and that there's multiple gods here, multiple complex unity, as they like to compound unity, complex unity, triunity, whatever they want to come up with, all the fancy schmancy terms. None of it holds water against the truth of Torah and the message that the Hebrew text actually tells us. And further proof of this, we could find if you go to chapter 5, where it gives us a summary of this creation narrative, right? Go to chapter 5. I have it here pulled up, verses 1 and 2, right? Verses 1 and 2. So right here, this is the narrative of the generations of man. Beyom bro Elohim Adam bitmut Elohim asaoto. This is on the day where God created man. Again, created in the singular form. The verb is in the singular. There is no plural here. Bitmut Elohim asaoto. In the image of God did he make him. See that? Make asaoto is singular. All right. Same thing with verse 2. Vayvarechotam, vayikra. Look at this, all of them, the same words, same terms, how we saw in chapter 1. All of them, all the verbs in the singular form, clearly indicating that there's one creator, one who's doing the action, one who is doing everything over here, all the creation, everything is this one being who we call God, right? The creator of heaven and earth, and who we are being introduced to over here in chapter 1 in the book of Bereshit, and summarized in chapter 5. So nothing of the Trinity here. All right. No, none of that foolishness. And I hope that that puts it to rest. Super easy to debunk, super easy to, I mean, there's no Trinity here. There's no three gods in one. Nothing even remotely, saying that there's a God the Father, God the Son, and God the Spirit created heaven and the earth. Nothing of the sort is said here in any way, shape, or form. Nothing. It's only one that is doing the creation, one who is constantly throughout chapter one. And God said, and God saw, and God blessed, and God created, and God made, and God. Everything is only one. It's singular. All the verbs. Therefore, stop it with this nonsense. Okay, so how do you deal with the one, chapter 1, verse 26, where it says, let us make man? Yeah, God said, this one singular being said in the singular, this one singular being spoke, and he said, let us make man in our image and in our likeness, probably speaking with the angels that were there, right? Because he had already made the angels, as we see from chapter 3, that there was already cherubim who were commanded to guard the entrance to the Garden of Eden after Adam was banished. So these angels already existed, and they were there. Um, and God was speaking to them and to the rest of all the creatures that were there already 6 days, and basically letting the world know, perhaps using the classic majestic plural, that man is a different creature. He will be made according to the image and likeness of God. All right, with a godly soul, the Spirit of God being breathed into his nostrils, give him the ability to reason, to speak, to understand God in a way that basically none of the other animals are able to do. So making him a unique creature, and this is why man was put in charge of creation and to pretty much be the one who watches over God's creation and given charge over everything that flies, all the animals, etc., as we see in chapter 1, verses 27, 28, 29, etc. So hopefully that helps to clarify, and will give you a better understanding on you know how we Orthodox Jews learn our Torah, learn our Hebrew scriptures, and how we're able to understand from each word exactly what the meaning is, and various nuances and various messages from the way a Hebrew word is actually appearing in the text, because there's so much knowledge and so much information that could be gained by just how a word, a verb, a noun, etc., appears in the Hebrew text, and that could change the meaning. All right. If you don't know this, if you're not raised with this knowledge, this is not passed down to you, you're not taught, you're not trained in this, then you're going to miss so many things. And you're going to end up making all kinds of, theological errors. God forbid. Well, that's what we're here. We're here to help. We are the God of Israel, appointed uh, light to the nations. We are his witnesses. We are the chosen nation of the God of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and we are here to help you come to the knowledge of the God of Israel and how to serve him in truth, how to serve him in truth. So hopefully this is helpful to you, and if it is, please share. And if you have any questions, any comments, drop them in the comments below. We'll try to answer and help you out as much as we can. All right. Have a good one. Have a blessed week. Stay safe. And thanks again for watching.